What's up, guys? Welcome to my Last Wish raid guide. This is part 1, Kalli the Corrupted. The Last Wish raid has been out for about a week's time, and with Hurricane Florence destroying North Carolina, I had a power outage that lasted about a week's time. And of course, it happened the day the raid dropped. I lost power 20 minutes into it at like 1:25 p.m. The raid debuted that day at 1, so that totally sucked and I am way behind, but better late than never. Anyways, let's dive into the mechanics, the loadouts, and do what I do best. Thoroughly explain complicated mechanics in as easy of a way as possible. Guardians, what is going on, guys? Sly here, back at it with my first Last Wish raid guide. This is a complete walkthrough for Kalli the Corrupted. And like I said, I am a week behind, so there are plenty of other guides out there. But I strive to be as thorough as possible in my raid guides, and I try to make them the best I can. So with that said, let's start this bad boy off, and I'll show you the easiest way to beat this first encounter. So first, make sure you plop down a raid banner and everyone gets their super and ammo. Now you'll notice plates and symbols located everywhere throughout this map, but do not let these confuse you or discourage you, because you're only going to be responsible for a small part of everything you see here. Okay, so first things first, let's learn the map, guys, starting from the raid banner and walking up to the middle area. This middle area is called the well. The first thing to look for are the columns hanging from the ceiling. There are 3 columns hanging around the outside of the well, and at the end of each column, there will be 2 symbols. Behind each of those 2 symbols, there will be 3 plates. Again, don't let it overwhelm you. Take a minute to run around and check out the layout. Just do not stand on the plates or it will start the encounter. Next, notice the stained glass windows down in the well itself. These are safe rooms we're going to be using during damage, but we'll get to that in a second. Next, let's learn the symbols. There are only 4 symbols in this first encounter. You have the twin-headed snake, which we'll call twins. Then there's the cloud-looking snake, which I call clouds. Then the figure 8 snake, which is 8. And then finally the infinity snake, which of course we call infinity. Once you learn those things, let's go ahead and start it off. Now, what you're going to need to do here is get into 3 groups of 2. It's going to be yourself and a partner. And then, of course, you'll have the next group of 2 and the last group of 2. Each group of 2 will be assigned a column hanging from the ceiling. Since there are 3 columns, each columns will have 2 players assigned to it. Now, no matter what symbol is shown, that is going to be your column, because the symbols will change later on. For example, I was the one responsible for the right ceiling column here, and the symbol it was showing for me, which was clouds for this round. So my partner and I were responsible for clouds. As you see, the 2 over there are responsible for infinity, and the other 2 are responsible for twins. These symbols hanging down from the columns are going to show you which plate you and your partner are going to have to stand on, and they can be any one of the 9 plates around the room. There will be 2 clouds, 2 infinity, 2 twins, 6 plates in total, and of course 6 symbols. So to start off the encounter, head to the plate that was designated by the symbol hanging from your assigned column. Hop on to officially start the encounter. Once you're on your plate, take a look at the floor, guys. You'll notice that it glows green on 2/3 of it, and the other third doesn't glow at all. The part that does not glow is a safe spot, and you have to make sure that you keep standing on the part that isn't glowing. It's going to change all the time. If you stand on a glowy part for too long, the taken rift will explode and instantly kill you. It's kind of like a dance here. Stand on the clean area, the rifts will explode. As soon as they do, it's time to rotate to another clean spot on your plate. Rifts will only explode and kill you if you are stepping on the glowing part. Otherwise, you're going to be safe the entire time. All the while this is happening and you're dancing around the safe areas, you need to make sure you are killing adds or they will overwhelm you. Area of effect grenades are awesome for this point. Things like solar grenade, void grenades, thermites, all those work nicely. The point here is to dance around the plate, avoiding the blights and stepping on the safe areas. This charges and cleanses your plate. Once all 6 of them are cleansed, that will lower the boss's shield and you can do damage. However, before you leave your plate and head towards the middle well for damage phase, each plate that gets stepped on will receive a lovely gift in the form of a taken knight. You have to kill your knight. Each plate that gets stepped on will have a knight spawn at the end, and each player has to be able to kill their own knight, period. Shotguns are your best friend for this part. Ikelos works wonders here, not only for killing the knight, but once you're out of heavy, you can use it for damaging the boss as well. Now, there is no correct way to get on your plate. Just hop on as soon as you're able. If you finish first, feel free to help out your neighbor, or if someone is lower light than you, then go and help and rescue them. Now once all 6 plates are cleansed and all 6 knights have been killed, it's time for damage. Now you'll know it's time for damage because you'll see the words Kalli conceives an ontological weapon at the bottom left hand side of your screen. That is your clue that it's time to head to the middle well and do damage, as she is vulnerable when she's conjuring this weapon. So jump into the well and it's time to use everything you have. Buffs, debuffs, exotics, sleepers, shotgun, rally barricade, well of radiance, rifts, melting point, anything and everything. Still, nothing beats melting point, sleeper, and well of radiance or rifts. Melting point with sleeper and a wall of radiance, that pretty much seems the best way to go. Once you're out of heavy, Ikelos shotgun, any shotgun you have, or a secondary sniper rifle, they all work well for this part. If you're going the tractor cannon route, then make sure you still have one wall of radiance warlock, while the rest go for nova bombs and void shotguns. Okay, so now let's talk about those stained glass windows I mentioned earlier. Kalli will be standing under one of the 3 columns around the well. The stained glass windows directly beneath her are the ones you're going to want to focus on. These are safe rooms that you have to enter when Kalli performs her team wipe mechanic. Now you're going to have 3 damage phases or opportunities before the round is over, and then you start back at the plates and the symbols. So after all 6 plates are cleansed and Kalli is building her ontological weapon, you head into the middle, melting point, rifts, sleeper, etc. Once you've damaged her for a good amount of time, you'll see at the bottom left hand corner again that Kalli prepares to use her weapon. What you want to do is take one last shot and then get ready to enter one of the safe rooms directly beneath her. These rooms can only hold 1 person behind each window. 6 of these will open once you see that Kalli is preparing to use her weapon. That's your clue to stop doing damage and get ready to hide. Now the best way to do this is to assign everyone a number. Do not wing it and go for whichever door is open or closest to you. That's not going to work and it's going to be a chaotic mess. So take the time and assign numbers. It will save you in the long run. So at the very beginning, when you are assigning each other's columns, assign numbers as well. Take a number 1 through 6. This will correspond to the room that you're going to enter. Just like reading a book or a paragraph from left to right, top to bottom, 1 through 6. If there are only 2 rooms open on the top row, just like reading a paragraph, you're going to go to the next line down and continue on left to right. So if the top row only has 2 rooms open, then the very first window on the second row would be 3. Then to the right of that 4, right of that 5, at the very end is going to be 6. Get used to counting on the fly like this, guys, because you're going to need it a little later on. So for example, you're going to see here that the top row only has 2 windows open. The first one at the top left, that's window number 1. To the right of that is 2. Since there are no more open windows on the top row, you're going to start the next row just like reading a paragraph. The next window is going to be 3, then to the right of that 4, right of that 5, and finally the last one is going to be 6. You enter the room in which your number corresponds to. Now it does take some getting used to. That's why it's important to make sure you give yourself enough time to count the rooms. So once you see that Kalli prepares to use her weapon, take one last shot and head to your rooms. Count over to your number and then head inside. The door will close and that's one phase of damage. There are 3 phases for each round. Once Kalli's weapon detonates, the room will open again with a bunch of thrall in the middle. Simply use grenades or a super to clear them out and then continue doing damage. Once the 3 damage phases are over, that's the end of the first round. The entire encounter starts back from the beginning. You're going to look at your assigned column hanging from the ceiling, take note of the symbol that's hanging from it. These are now the symbols you're going to have to be looking for. Once again, you and your partner will split up and you each take 1 plate wherever it may be located. Once you're on the plate, you simply do what you just did. Stand in the safe areas while shooting enemies. After dancing around the plate, your knight will spawn in, signaling that the plate is cleansed. Kill the knight and help your neighbors if possible, or you can head to the middle, getting ready for damage phase. After a couple of rounds, that's it guys, you get a total of 3 full rounds of damage before she enrages and you start over. That's 9 chances to do damage. If you're going into the raid underleveled, and by underleveled I mean like 535 or below, then you can do extra damage to her when she roams around the map. When everyone splits up to go stand on their plates, you will see the boss kind of, roaming around the map close to the plates you're on. If she comes by you, you can throw a grenade on her, shotgun her a few times, whatever you have, which doesn't do much damage, but after 3 rounds of pecking away at her, it does add up to a good bit of damage towards the end. Melting Point, Supers, Warlock Well of Radiance, Sleepers, and Snipers. If you're out of heavy, then use your shotgun and get up close. Ikelos is the best way to go here, but if you don't have it, of course any shotgun will do. Badlander is a good one to use. The hardest part of this boss fight is not messing up the safe rooms. But if you stop shooting as soon as you see that she's about to use her weapon and you walk up as soon as they open, then you have plenty of time to figure out where to go. Try to have one person be the lookout for the group. They will be the one responsible for keeping watch when the rooms open. This will help out a lot, and it also gives you plenty of time to count and then enter your room. The symbols for this encounter are very easy, but they get much harder as the raid goes on. So get used to counting on the fly and learning symbols. It will help you out tremendously moving forward. But that is about it, Guardians. There are other ways to do this encounter, but this way is easy enough and it's simple to learn. Do not let all the symbols and plates discourage or confuse you when you first get in here. Remember, when you start this encounter and you're standing underneath your assigned column on the ceiling, whatever symbol is on that column, you are responsible for. All the other plates, all the other symbols, that's not your concern. Once the first round is over, look at your assigned column again, notice the symbol because it will probably change. So now, once the symbol changed, you head to whatever plate your symbol designates. Once again, all the other symbols and all the other plates, that's somebody else's problem. Don't worry about it. In a raid, everyone has a job to do, and unless you're carrying someone, always focus on your job first and foremost. Once your job is done, then you can help others. But that's it, guys. Once you get the rotations down, you realize this encounter is actually pretty easy. Kalli is a tank, but there are plenty of damage phases, so don't get discouraged. Just remember to have someone call out when it's time to enter the safe rooms behind the stained glass windows. If you call it out as soon as you see that Kalli is preparing to use her weapon, you will have plenty of time to count out your room and then enter inside it. So good luck, and you got this, Guardians. After a few reps, it'll be like any other raid encounter. You'll get it done really quickly. Once again, it's just another encounter to get through on the way to the real challenge, which is Riven. And Riven, by the way, is still one hell of a challenge. But that is it for me, Guardians. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below, and either myself or others will help answer them. The secret chest and the next two boss encounters are currently in editing, so keep an eye out for those as they will be out here soon. As always, thank you for watching and for supporting Slynation. Even with the hurricane taking me out, I'm slowly getting back on track. So once again, thank you guys so much for the support and all of the well wishes on Twitter, Facebook, and here on YouTube. You guys are awesome. Subscribe for many more Dreaming City and Last Wish raid guides. Spank the thumbs up, but only if you enjoyed yourself. And comment down below if you have any questions, tips, or tricks, or if you just want to say what's up. Later, guys, and keep those eyes open for part 2, 3, and 4 of my Last Wish raid guide, as Shuro-Chi is next. But until then, this is your dude Sly, and I'll catch you guys next time.